fuck or something in them if you eat too much.
Who
It's
is?
almonds.
Oh,
It's always something wrong. All right.
I need to send my text first.
You need to send your text. We live.
right.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Welcome. I am Jonnita Stanton. We have Reginald Perryman, Kashka Williams. We are TSARE. This is There's Something About Real Estate podcast, where we talk all things real estate. So how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Shaka keeps talking about this nap where he woke up next week.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I'm out of it.
What's his name? What's the character name? The cartoon character that took that nap? Wrinkle. What is it? God. Rip Van Winkle or something. Somebody went to sleep forever or something.
Okay, I would say that must
he
be
wasn't dead. He just went to sleep for a long
Sleep for a
time.
long time. That's how I feel like. I feel like I went to sleep and woke
The
up
kids
next
to
week.
know. Right.
Hey, everything they was doing, I didn't hear nothing.
What's going on?
Everything is good. This week in real estate, we got to talk about it. I need to know, what's happened. So today is, I guess, we be talking about today, or we live,
Yeah,
right?
we can talk about today. So today is Friday.
Yep, today's
Thank God
Friday.
it's Friday. I got some market stats. I had to print them out because I wanted to be accurate. This is according to Real Comp, which is our MLS. Primarily, it covers like Wayne, Oakland, Macomb County, but Real Comp has data from all of Michigan pretty much.
And Ohio.
So new listings, 830. This as of today. This not like all week. 838 new listings, 92 listings coming soon. So that means they're in the system, but they're not active. Contingent mean offer accepted. Contingent to show, continue to show 32. Accepting backup offers are 86 properties. Price decreases 326. Price increase 20 properties.
That is crazy to me.
So that's like 30% of decrease.
No, the increases. You're just talking about when people go on there and be like, "Oh, I didn't list it high enough. Let me list it higher."
Yeah,
those
or
are
maybe
always
they
funny.
made some upgrades, or sometime what happened, the agent might enter the wrong price by mistake, like 169 instead of 196, and they got to go in and put it in at 196. So that happens. Back on the market, 81. That means the deal fell through. Pending sales, 376. So you got about the same amount of price decreases as you have pending sales, but 684 properties were reported sold today.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Just today. This is
Just
right.
today.
And I got some updates I need
Yeah.
to make, so that would have went
And
up
then-
had I added mine.
Yeah, if you would have asked, see what I'm talking about? People don't respect the data.
So look, but that's what I want to talk. I want you to back up a little bit,
Okay.
because them accepting backup offers could very well, they're probably
pending.
They're probably pendings.
Yeah, they just haven't changed the status.
Yep.
Like Jonnita.
Right. But no, I tell people all the time when it comes to some of the status, the remarks,
right,
the square footage, it's regular old people on the other side of the stuff doing these updates. Exactly.
Right. All right. Conditional withdrawal is 35. So conditional withdrawal means that the seller wanted off the market, usually temporarily, and they're still under contract with that listing agent. Unconditional withdrawal means somebody just wanted off the market, period.
Right.
And that's
forget you. How many?
105.
Unconditional?
Yep.
Oh shoot, I need to call them.
Right.
Well, here's the other one.
That's like expires.
Expires was 29.
Oh, okay.
That's real low.
That's really
we used
low.
to get we used to have, so this is just today, we used to have like 130 expires in a day.
Okay.
But 29 is low. So those are the market watch stats according to Real Comp.
We need to start having
as
those.
of today.
Yeah.
As of today. We gonna
So
actually might need to do that like we need
we
to make
doing
that
this every time.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I brought it.
Maybe we need to make that like a day. You know what I mean? Like when we go live, talk about those stats.
We just did.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
hey, look, so
Shaka's still on that nap.
Well, no, the reason I brought it up is because like when I'm like coaching agents or something, they'd be like, "Oh, the market this," and I'll be like, look, 684 homes sold today. Why don't you have your piece of that pie? Right? It's 838 new listings. Why don't you have your? It's enough to go around.
It is.
And this just today.
And that's just the people that didn't wake up today and decide that they wanted to sell their house.
Yeah, and that's not even the people that got a listing contract that just didn't put it in the system. Right? But it's close to accurate.
Right.
Yeah. So, people are always going to need houses. There will always be houses for sale. We don't know how many, but So let's jump into it. Multifamily conversions. I don't, so my experiences, here in the Detroit metro area, and I started seeing this more often. Maybe 4 to 5 years ago or so. I mean, personally, that's when I started to notice, like, and very specific areas in Detroit. So we have here in Detroit some prime time areas where it may make sense to do a conversion from multifamily to family units side by, that's not, we're not talking about necessarily like duplex. I guess people do them, however, but in my mind, we're very specifically talking about the flats where you have one unit downstairs, one unit upstairs, and, particular area. But I guess the question is to convert or not to convert. Why would you convert a 2-family home into a single family home?
Pros and cons.
Yeah,
we were saying why are we gonna do it, or
what's the pros? What's the cons? Why would you do it?
So first, I think we should talk about first let's say this. So the pros, it would depend on if you're talking about an actual family buying it, who owns it versus an investor. So for a family, I would think the pro would be that you basically taking a unit that's maybe like 3 and 3 bedrooms up, 3 bedrooms down, and you making it into a single family 6 bedroom, right? And then when we say conversion, we're talking about converting all the utilities to 1 meter. So some of these have 2 meters, 2 furnaces, 2 of everything, and you're converting it all to 1, which may work for a large family.
Yeah, you also talking about taking out one of the kitchens,
right, and making that some extra living space.
Exactly. So I think that would jump into some of the pros. So maybe for an individual that's buying it for the family, the pros would be additional square footage. So now, in a particular area, you may be increasing your ability to have a larger house. So maybe the area that I'm thinking about in particular is Bagley. So we're talking about traditionally, like on average, 1,800 square foot homes.
Right.
Now they're probably going to like 26 to 3.
Yeah, because most of
3,200 square foot homes.
Yeah, most of your 2 families are probably between like 2,400 and square feet now.
They're probably traditionally 3-bedroom homes with 1 to 2 bathrooms going.
I got a question. So, because one of the pros that I see for that is, and y'all just saying everybody doesn't come take out the kitchen, and that's
true.
Then that's still a pro for them. That they get to have their huge family living in that one house,
right?
With when they still got the two kitchens, even though it's still converted, they still took it to where they're sharing the utilities, but they're still kind of using it as they got 2 kitchens instead.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe I haven't really seen that typically. So I've been seeing it where a person like myself who's a fix and flipper is gonna look at this house and go, I can go from making maybe 180 to 210 on this flip to maybe 290. And so now I can take the square footage, I can get rid of the kitchen, I can create a master suite, do a master bathroom, and now it's gonna be a cohesive house. We don't have 2 doors.
We just changed it.
We don't have, it's a conversion. It's going from a 2-unit.
Well, I'm talking about you change from so we were talking about the pros of a homeowner as opposed to the pros of an investor.
I thought we were talking about the pros for doing a full conversion.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we were talking about the pros and cons for a homeowner versus an investor.
You just switched it over.
But yeah, go ahead.
You can go.
So that's what I was thinking. So for a home, so I'm going to be in my mind when I buy this house to do this conversion, I'm gonna be selling it to a family who needs 6 bedrooms
Right.
and 2.5 bathrooms, a
Which you
master
can't find
ensuite.
in that area for a
Yeah.
single family.
And so I guess that's what I'm thinking about it when I'm thinking about the family that's gonna be purchasing the house. I think, yeah, they're kind of two separate conversations. You got like the investor that's going to do the conversion. I've never really seen it to where a family comes in and they go, I got $100,000 to spend into this house doing a conversion.
I've seen it a couple times where
In Dearborn.
yeah, I've seen it a
Yeah,
couple
but
times. Yeah.
that's I think that's a different, because they don't really do 2 family conversions. They like will knock a house down and then build a brand new.
No, you
It's
see some
conversion.
2 family conversions over there.
Oh, okay.
Because so you got to think about a large family, or maybe they're combining a family, so it's like 2 parents and the kids. Because you know, you used to see like it would literally be 2 families, like maybe the sister and her kids are downstairs, the other sister and their kids are upstairs. But you're talking about one family that has maybe 4 kids, and they convert the house over. And now it's a 6-bedroom in an area where it's mostly 3 and 4 bedrooms. So you added that square footage and you're comparing that to single family housing. So I think one of the issues when we talk about 2 families is, do you see a difference in price in a neighborhood like that when you see a 2 family versus a single family?
Definitely.
I don't all the time. It just
Right.
depends on if it's heavy. So like you may move from Bagley. So Bagley is so in Detroit, Bagley has like where I would say from like 7 Mile going back toward 6 Mile, you have like mostly single family residences, and then you have some 2 families sprinkled in here and there. But when you get like south of 6, or maybe just a little bit, yes, when you get like south of 6, pretty much you got more 2
Right.
families.
Right.
So I feel like on the side where you have more 2 families, you have more sales that support values in that hub.
Right.
But then if you go over to like, let's say East English Village, which is on the east side of Detroit, now you have that same issue where you probably have a few 2 families sprinkled in with like single families.
Right.
And so you don't have enough
Like
2 family comps to support the 2 family sales. So you kind of got to wait as time, like, longer
Right.
for those values
So I mean,
to like
yes,
pick up.
then. So his question was, do you see? So your question was, is the
There is
value is different? Is
Yeah,
the value
because
different?
like, so for instance, let's take a 2,000 square foot home in Bagley or East English Village, single family, right?
Mhm.
4 bedrooms. You're gonna see one price for that, but a 2,000 square foot 2 unit don't normally sell at the
It's
same
gonna be
price.
way
They
less.
usually sell for less.
Yeah.
So a lot of times investors will look at it and be like, well, I should get more because it's a 2 family.
Right.
Mhm.
My thing is 90% of your buyers are going to be investors for a 2 family. So
Right.
since we're talking about conversions, are the prices starting to shift because more people are starting to convert these, or is it still like 2 families are primarily sold to investors?
So I think that they're primarily sold to investors.
Yeah.
Right.
And because they're the people that had the money to convert them,
Right.
and they sell for less. So the 2 families sell for less than the single family residences. That's why. So I guess that's one of the pros of an investor buying the 2 family and converting it, is because now they get to
Right.
sell it for more money
Right.
because it's a single family resident.
Right. That's from a flip standpoint, but from an income standpoint, it makes sense to keep it as a 2 unit.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Right. Why do you think that is?
Because you earning double the rent.
Right.
Well, I mean, so it depends, right? I guess it depends on the
It's cash
area.
flow.
Because like
It's cash flow.
so I always looked at it like this. So let's take those 2 areas we named. You get a 4 bedroom. What you gonna rent for in Bagley? Like
Right now today,
yeah, about
18 probably.
1,800. So you take a 4 bedroom, 2 and 2, 2 family. What are you getting per unit?
Probably
Same amount.
1,200
1,200 each unit.
over there now. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 2,400 versus 1,800. Same square footage, same bedroom count, but you got 2 families, and you likely to have paid less for the 2 family. So that's what attracts investors to keep them as a 2 unit. That's why I think I'm seeing more convergence with owner occupants versus investors for that reason.
Yeah, you got to show me some of these.
Yeah, I show them too.
Yeah.
Because I see where people, like I've dealt with people to where they're like, oh man, you know, my mom's coming or my aunt's coming or my cousin's coming or whoever's coming. And so they open up their search to 2 families because it becomes convenient at that point.
Right.
But you know, the average person just, you know, working a job, I haven't seen, you know, to where they're throwing money in like that doing the conversion personally. Now, typically in this area, when I see the conversions, it's typically from an investor. Investor bought it because they got a good deal on it. And now if I go in here, I mean, I bring Shaka in that area all the time just to kind of be like, we should do a conversion. Because I've been wanting to do a
Right.
conversion for years.
Mhm.
But sometimes I think that's the con. It's like the money spent.
Right.
Right? You know, the cost, it drives the cost up. You know, the layout doesn't always you know, work to do a
It's
conversion.
not cost
Right.
Yeah, and so we kind of just move on a lot of times because we'll go and stand in it and look at it. And it's kind of like, okay, well, where are we going to put the ensuite? Where are we going to put it? Because there are, you know, like I think as investors, it's like, you know, how do we continue to make the money on the fix and flips?
Right.
And in some areas, it becomes like, well, if we were to do a conversion, then we can add some unique features. So now we're giving people that, you know, this is traditionally our hood. You know what I
Right.
mean? We didn't have second floor laundry. We only have the laundry in the basement.
I'm glad you said that too, because that second floor laundry is a huge add-on for some families too. So you're talking about pulling that kitchen out and having that second floor laundry room.
Yep.
And
But-
I think, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And as an investor, though, that's actually a little bit better. We haven't done a 2-unit conversion because Jonnita finds mansions to try to convert. But
They'd be great properties, man. No, look, if we had got that property that's off the that was across the street from the golf course, we still had that right now.
Was
And
it
we'd
on
be
sale?
yes.
Yeah.
I saw one
We
on
had
the
it under
sale.
contract.
Actually, that's
It was
one.
not
It was
it was
3-car
not a good- it
garage,
was
brick
not one.
3-car garage.
No, this one, I think the one you're talking about, mine was the second from the corner.
That's it was the second house from the corner.
Was it the one I had?
Or the
Was it?
corner.
It's the
I don't
second
think
one.
you
It was
had
the
it
second house
listed.
from the
Mine
corner.
was garage
Was it?
that needed to be torn down.
Nah, this garage
How
did not
was
need
the
to be torn
basement?
down.
Almost
The
everything in
basement
this
was
thing needed to
crappy.
be.
It was.
How was the foundation of the house?
No, it was straight.
Oh yeah,
It's just some of the bricks was falling off.
The foundation was solid. We liked the deal. We were worried about the cost.
This one
The foundation
was
was not
like
solid.
3,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms each unit.
That's by the golf course.
And they converted right off of 6 Mile.
Yeah, right.
No,
across the
that
street from the
foundation
And
was horrible.
that lady was converting that to a single family. Like that's the last one I did. This was about 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Nah, this was
Yeah.
like within the last.
It was the second house. So we talking. So ours, the one she talking about, was the second house from that corner. Second house, but the foundation was the issue.
Because
So,
there's 4 houses on a block exactly like the one I saw.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the foundation is what turned. I mean,
That
along
house
with
would be
the
worth
size.
about 360 right now.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
Nah, this house, that house, we were probably gonna get that house for what, like 120. And shoot, today.
Spend 180 in rehab.
Oh yeah, no.
So that's what I'm saying. We was worried about the cost at the time
Yeah.
because that's one of the things
It
too.
might have been my listing because the lady that brought it, she was getting a
This was off
like
market.
a Detroit home
No, it
mortgage or something.
What? Oh, right. She was a real.
Yep, and she was getting
yeah,
she was getting a rehab loan pretty much, and she
Mhm.
was putting all the money into it. The money she was spending, she wasn't gonna have any equity at the
Mhm.
time, but now she's probably got 120 to 140,000 in equity in it.
And that was almost a year ago. So, and at the time, the rents, I was looking at the rents, like, you know, worst case, if we got it, what would we be able to cash flow it for? The units, they had just sold, you know, I mean, in terms of lease for
Right.
like, you know, they were leasing those units for like 1,800.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is that from an investment standpoint, so we always go in these houses trying to add second floor
Laundry
rooms and master bathrooms, and they already had the plumbing and stuff already going up there. So this it'd be a little bit easier on the construction side.
Right.
But we haven't found one.
Yeah,
that
we
I
just haven't
felt
found the
like,
right one. I mean, I think the one on the sale was promising, but even still, like, you know, most of the time when we're doing our fix and flips, they have to make sense. Like, you know, we both have to stand in them and go, all right,
Yeah, the numbers.
Kind of like
it's almost like
gone
a
in 60
no-brainer.
seconds. Let's go.
This was a huge house that was choppy. You know what
You
I
would
mean?
have had to knock down
I had to
walls.
knock down walls, add bathrooms where there wasn't bathrooms. And the foundation was bad. This was a
So,
bad deal.
Let me ask you
Thank
this,
you.
because so here's where I really wanted to cover on the conversion. So a lot of people go in and they convert these 2 units to single families,
Mhm.
and they don't pull permits, and they don't have the city come, because some cities want you to rezone the property
Mm.
too. So, like, what are you guys seeing with that?
Mm. I haven't.
Because I've seen people try to convert them over, and it's like, no, this ain't right.
Mhm.
Or they take a large single family and try to convert it to a 2 unit, like the upstairs bungalow,
Right.
and they'll put like a stairway on the back of the house or something like
Mhm.
that. But they never did anything with the city.
To rezone.
Yeah, so that becomes an issue, because now when they sell it, a lot of buyers don't know any better, and then when they go to sell it, they have all these issues. Yes.
I mean, we
As
do
my
a
kids say.
lot of big.
Yeah.
So we don't do conversions, but we do a lot of large rehabs, right?
Right.
That's crazy. Crazy rehabs.
Right.
But on single family, I just feel like so far they have been more profitable. So than
Yeah.
converting to 2 units. I know that a few people we know that's converting, but they take like almost over a year. They
That's
like 2
them.
Yeah.
years
That's because
in.
but they ain't never know what they was doing anyway. But so what I'm.
But
this
they
is,
do
but
'em.
we
So,
know what
wait.
we. I feel like we have enough help. You know what I
Right.
mean, to be able to get. And so right now, and y'all fixing flippers, you can tell me what you think. Like, we're like, so I love it. Like Shaka doesn't like it as much as I do. Like, but it's how I survive. Like
Right.
it's the reason why when realtors are running around here bumping in the walls and screws
Right.
popping out and stuff because things ain't going their way, I can still go to sleep because I know it's a check coming that's
Yep.
gonna still fill my year.
Right.
And so I really like doing fix and flips, but I'm always trying to understand how to gain more profit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, making it a profitable business, and I'm always looking to be $60,000 plus on the profit. And
Right.
so when I'm looking at it, it's just kind of like, okay, we have to sustain, this is, if we go into this area. And at the time, Bagley still wasn't like at its ceiling.
Right.
So we go into this area where we have this massive square footage. Other people are only getting 170, 165, 170, 190 for the houses. If we go in here and we buy at this price and we put this much in, now we're, increasing our net profits, by hundreds.
Potentially.
Look here.
You seen a better opportunity for it.
Well, the day I'm wrong, I don't want to see it, but it hasn't
Right.
happened yet.
No,
Yeah,
you haven't been wrong because she has not been wrong, but I have to say you're not wrong because we don't take every opportunity. So
we don't, because all the opportunities have to be thought out.
Mhm.
I'm not like, so, and I bring every opportunity to most of my network. That's the other thing. I tell people that about myself all the time. Like, yeah, I have a lot of experience in the business, but I have colleagues that also have a lot of experience in the business. And it's almost like I feel like I have a board of experienced people that I
Right.
can be like, all right, Reg, this is what I'm looking at. I think one of the ones that we just did, you were basically like, shoot, anything you can get over there, just get it. I think it's the Rollo Township one that we bought.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But, because so
Reggie,
what happened?
Yeah.
Reggie was like, he wouldn't have bought that.
I didn't know what price y'all got it at.
We got it
and
at a
the
low number.
rehab cost.
Wait till you come over there now. It's a way
Yeah.
nicer
Yeah,
But
house.
like
the
a 40,
area,
we
that
paid like
area is hot.
low. Yeah, we paid like a low
Yeah.
dollar on the acquisition.
We should have paid low dollar.
Yeah, we should have. But I'm just saying it was a really low. And that's the other thing. Like in this market, finding low acquisition
Right.
is hard. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is why I like the flips less than her. I like the flips too. So so when you talk about this conversion, I just feel like as long as that's your second or third income, it's cool. When it's your primary income, I think it's tough.
Right.
When the flippers that's out here that's living off of flipping, I just don't know that going to conversion rate or way is it. It's just like a huge rehab.
Yeah, that's
and then the
stressful.
amount
And
of
then
money you're gonna make off
Yeah,
of it.
then you
is
got to
just
be in
like-
the market that demands that too.
Mhm.
Like And the reality of it is, it's not many people in that area looking for a 6-bedroom house.
Right.
So
You start getting
if
over 4.
if my family is this size, maybe I got kids that's gonna graduate in a year or two, and I got a 4-bedroom for 235, or I can buy a 6-bedroom for 280. How bad do I really need the extra square footage in the other 2 bedrooms? You see what I'm saying? So I think converting them to flip them has always been a challenge, and will be, unless I just don't see the demand out there for it.
I think a lot of
Now
people
you
do that because they want I think the people that do that are the individuals you discussed. They be emotionally attached to the house.
Yeah,
They want to show everybody I did this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then I'm not emotionally attached to the house. I'm only emotionally attached to the money. So if it
Right.
don't make money, it
Is
doesn't
he
make
though?
sense.
Because if
Right.
you ain't even gonna go there.
No, it is the money.
bro.
So wait a minute. So speaking of 2 families though, where
So I could just be throwing money out the window and shit.
Lies.
so now with 2 families though, is so you have your investors that primarily buy 'em. I think what's also sustaining the 2-family market is because a lot more people are going back to house hacking.
Mhm.
So it's funny how, like, you go on Instagram, YouTube, and all these gurus giving you all these terms, like, house hacking. That's just what our grandparents used to do.
Mhm.
They buy a 2-family, they'll bring their relatives up from the South and have them move into the other unit and stay there until they can get on their feet, and they go out and buy another house.
Call
And
smart.
then
We can really transition on this to another topic. Go ahead.
sorry.
yeah, and then they would just you would see families do that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? This was like the anchor house you come and stay in, or before it was Airbnb, they would have one unit like as room and board or bed and breakfast or whatever. It was always another use for that unit, whether it was renting it out to family members or some type of house where people just stayed overnight. But
Grandma's
house hacking is
True.
just a new term for something that was being done for years.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
nothing new. I think generations kind of got away from it because we all wanted our own thing and we didn't want to be bothered. But I mean, that's just how it was. But
I think too, people we're not as like for some reason, even though maybe some of us grew up or we see it, but we've not been educated in it. And so now with like, online YouTube errors, like you said, people making these videos and
Right.
giving like the breakdowns of it,
Yeah,
it's giving, kind of the younger generations more insight and showing, what you can do with property and how valuable it is. So like you
Right.
said, it's not new,
right.
but for some people it is because now it's explained, maybe.
Yeah, it's new to them. So
Right.
I'll be excited when I see people getting the information. It just tripped me out when they
How they
praise somebody
who they got it from.
for explaining something that's kind of
Obvious.
common, right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh, this is how you do this, and you be like, no shit, like you
That's
you
my
knew
son.
that.
Shit.
Yeah, you like,
yeah.
I'm right here. You ain't
Yeah.
listen to me when I
Yeah.
said it,
Mhm.
but you got to say it a different way or make it more swag to it or make it
Mhm.
seem cool. But it's like,
That's because
no-
we like the our kids. You ever hear children of celebrities, maybe like Run DMC or something like that?
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know that I didn't know who my father was until
Right.
I don't know, one day I figured it out."
Yeah,
That's what
Yep.
it is. We talked about this too.
Mhm.
I told Shaka, I said, and this is just, like for the kids, or like maybe because we all have kids or
Right.
whatever. I'm like, it's the old saying that if you sit in shit long enough, you get used to it.
Yeah.
I say it's the
Yep.
same thing for flowers.
Right.
If you see flowers or you sit in flowers long enough, you get used to that too. And I think a lot of times, the people that you're probably talking about, they're not listening to us because they're maneuvering around. They're used to seeing it. They used to live in
Right.
a certain kind of way. And so it's just kind of like when we say it, it's just like goes over the
Go over
head.
the head,
And then
yeah.
when someone else says, like, "Oh my God, I just got all this new information that no one ever told me before." Like, bruh, okay.
I guess they say it's how you didn't receive the information, or how you receive the
Yeah.
information from the other person, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
So
also who's presenting the information. Yeah.
well, no, sometimes the person that's presenting it is qualified, but for whatever reason, you can't receive it from that individual.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm
I'm
saying?
saying another individual may present it in a way that's more
Oh,
acceptable to the
right.
person.
like how
Right.
TV does the rehabs. You know what I'm saying? That's why
Yeah.
everybody want to do flips.
Right.
We've been doing flips for a long time, but everybody flip that house and they think that's the problem. Though with that is
Oh my
they don't
God.
they don't tell
man.
the real.
Man,
You
I
know?
seen one. We're gonna have to do a reaction show one day. I seen this guy rehabbing it. So he's technically a builder.
Mhm.
He build new construction homes. He went into this was in Texas. He went into this like 1970s house, and he was trying to get the you know how they have the what is it called, the air and coolant rating or
Mhm,
something? They
mhm.
got a rating
Yeah.
to show how much air is seeping out from the
Yeah.
house
Mhm.
and how airtight it
Insulation.
is. He was doing all this extra stuff to get this 1970s house to be equivalent to a new construction. And I'm like, dude, the house was never designed
Mhm.
like that. And he was like tearing out rafters and to put in different insulation and everything. And the realtor was telling him, like, that don't even matter to buyers that's buying these age homes. They don't even know what you're talking about when
Mhm.
you explain it to
Mhm.
them. I think he spent like 80,000 extra on this flip
Mm.
just to do that. So it's like,
Emotionally attached.
yeah, but in his mind, it made sense because
He was
that's
probably
what,
giving value. He felt like he was creating a value.
yeah, and there was
add.
no value for it. It
Nah.
didn't matter to the appraiser. Half of the appraisers don't even know.
It was no giving no
But-
value, and he knew it was giving no value, but he just wanted to go out and say, "I did
I
this."
did this, yeah, because he was
That's it.
used to doing it a certain
Mhm.
way, but you can't use that technology
I'm about to say, I
and
got
that
some new
experience.
construction stuff in my house and the
Right.
floors.
Well, I mean,
Like-
it's,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
different. You know what I'm
Thanks, my
saying?
guy.
Like,
I
this
ain't
was
talking about
like
Shaka
a-
either.
this was like
No,
equivalent to
from the
like
other side. Who else did it now?
You know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
You was like, he went in there and did that shit like it's new construction. I was like, thank you.
right.
Oh,
And the sister in my Joyce, all that new
you're
wood
talking
and how
about
he
Dean,
glued it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's different though. That's keeping
Well, he
the
had
house
to do that.
stable. You
Oh,
know what I'm
yeah, he
saying?
had to
He
do
almost
that.
had to do that.
Yeah.
That's keeping the house stable.
Look, I went down there and was like,
It opened
"Hmm,
up,
appreciate you."
to-
and open it up,
Yeah,
right?
she got a huge kitchen dining room now. That used to be 3 or 4 rooms right there. So
Yeah,
we had.
so that was
He had to
necessary.
do that. Right. It was carrying the whole house now.
Appreciate you.
Mm.
Going back to 2-family conversions.
But that
you
is
get-
still me. I don't know the way that she's saying thank you, my
Yeah.
guy. No, I'm the one who made that happen.
Right.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
crazy.
She
See,
appreciates
just
it.
like your
I'm dang,
kids.
I'm just
That's just,
playing.
you know, that's just how
Jesus
your kids do
Christ.
you,
I know.
right? But so I guess at the end of the
Fucking
day, we're saying that so the pros for our it seems like there's very few pros for
Well,
converting.
for investor is very few pros
Mhm.
from a flip standpoint. Unless there are some areas that will support it. If
Mhm.
you got
Yeah.
like a large 6-bedroom home where the market, maybe it's a lot of 4 and 5 bedrooms in that area already. Now you got a 6-bedroom.
Yeah, so like
Needle in a
okay, so
haystack,
like in the
though.
area
Yeah.
that I was talking about, which is Bagley, right? So we are separated. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I know I will. I will say, well, that's Palmer Woods, or that's Sherwood Forest, or that's University District, and that's Bagley,
Right.
and that's Marygrove, and that's Fitzgerald. This is all still within a mile radius.
Yeah.
So an appraiser is not going to come in here and say, well, these are the different names for all of the historical districts.
They used
Yes,
to, though.
they will.
They
A
used
good
to.
appraiser will.
Yeah.
Hold on.
They're gonna look at that
But when
and
you start giving the combined square footage with the number of bedrooms and the bathrooms, they're not going outside of their criteria to be able to get the value.
No.
right, you right.
No, because there's not enough inventory to do so. But back when you had a lot of homes selling like that, then they did.
No, when
Well,
you have
he's-
even what
which-
I'm go ahead.
What you're saying, I see what you're saying. So if I convert this 2-family to a single family, and it's 3,000 square feet, and no other single families are above 2,000 square feet, they may have to go from Bagley to U of D
University.
area to get that 3,000 square foot comp because it's within a mile, and there you go.
But
You
they
got-
normally wouldn't.
But it's not.
So back in the day, they would not do that because they would say that this is a different. So the appraisers, just like how
different
y'all know,
market area.
they're like these are different areas, and what they would do is they would go find the highest price house within that area, and then they'll start adding to
and make
it,
adjustments.
making
for square
adjustments.
But what I'm
But
saying
you're
is
still
that's the
not gonna get
area.
to the
It's
numbers.
not outside the area.
Don't matter. So you're
It's
using
like grandma
you're,
being across the street from Rosedale
so listen, this is
Park.
what you're doing. You're this is like when we talking to people who don't know real estate, and then they give us their common sense logic. And it's like
He said common sense logic.
I mean, it's there because it's common. I mean, it's logic to them, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that appraisals works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I hear what you're saying. I hear you. I understand, but I'm just talking about how that would normally go. Now we just talked about this in our last show, our last podcast, when we was talking about how appraisals are opening up big time. You know, they're going back further. They're going, you know, they are throwing a lot of those old school rules that they used to use away, but that's because they have to, because of, you know, the lack of inventory now.
It's so many sales right now where you can pull from, but all I'm saying is in any of these areas, so Detroit has always been like this. From block to block to block. I can be on my block over here on Lauder between Keeler and Midland, and then I can go around the corner and it's a whole nicer area. I feel like I'm in Oak Park. I mean, you know, when that was a thing, right? So
my point.
What I'm saying is, to me, the person who has lived there, I feel like I went somewhere else. But for the appraiser, whose job is to determine value within a certain amount of a range, and it used to be not beyond a park, a water body of water, and a railroad, these houses fit that. They're not outside of the range.
So let me give you our primary one.
They're within range.
I'm gonna give you a great one because my first flip ever in Detroit was in Grandmont. So I'm not from Detroit. I come down into, she finds that's how we met. I mean, she bought this flip. I mean, well, we didn't know each other less than a week. She had a flip.
Right.
And she like, are you in or not? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? It was in Grandmont though. And so when I came down there, Grandmont is Grandmont is different from Rosedale Park.
Right.
But they right there. So I come down here and I'm like, well, shit, all this is the same neighborhood.
Right.
But she said, no, this is Grandmont. That's over there. When you cross over into Rosedale, it's more expensive.
I explained this. That's what I just said.
No, it's not. You just said that the appraiser is supposed to use Grandmont. So that's what I'm explaining. The appraiser is going to say Grandmont is less than, they used to say Grandmont is less than Rosedale Park, even though it's within a quarter mile of each other. Right?
But are they supposed to?
But it didn't matter if they, so again, common sense logic, right? It doesn't matter if they're supposed to or not. This is what happens. We're not saying that that's the right way to do it. This is just what happens when their appraisers were appraising. Now that's not happening as much, but back in the day, that shit.
Right. So, but that's what I was explaining. What I was saying. So what I just explained was, so he explained what a lot of. So I look at everything when we about to buy a property. Right. And so he just explained what I just explained is a fear. So yeah, I will sit and go, I know that this is University. I know that this is Sherwood. I know that this is Marygrove. I know that this is Bagley. However, if I go in here and I do this conversion and I create more square footage, more bedrooms and more bathrooms, the appraiser has to go somewhere to get those numbers. And that's why it's been working. Those houses have been selling. Like, it blew my mind.
The appraiser doesn't have to do it.
Why wouldn't the appraiser use another 2-family?
He doesn't have to do it.
Well, he wouldn't use a 2-family because it's no longer a 2-family.
Right.
You might even have to.
He's asking from the outside.
Not true.
I'm asking that from a client perspective.
The appraiser may not even know it's conversion. When the appraiser walks up to the house and they go into this house that has a foyer,
well, he's gonna check public
record. Yeah, he a horrible appraiser. He don't know that.
He gonna check assessment.
He gonna give you a bad value if he don't know.
And then he might be like, "Why does it say 2-family?"
And he gonna look at MLS
and then he might call and be like, "Why is this 2?" Okay, but what I'm saying is that's why in certain. So to me, I feel like the conversions, it's a location thing. Everything is always location in real estate, and I think that if you're gonna do a conversion, it also has to be based on location. And if you're gonna do a conversion, you make sure that within a mile or however, I don't know if the guidelines for appraisers are the same across the country. Right. But here, I know that you have to be within a mile, and I don't even take those risks. I do all my comps under a half of a mile. So all I'm saying is, if I were going to do a conversion, it would be in an area that is going to support those bedrooms and that square footage and those bathrooms.
And that's the issue.
So basically, to sum this up, if you're an investor and you're doing a conversion for a flip, whether it's a 4-bedroom, 6-bedroom, you want to make sure the comps for a single family 4 and 6 bedrooms are going to support your ARV.
And that's the issue. So
And
the
most of
issue
the time it
is you
doesn't.
cannot, right? You don't have
Right.
6 bedrooms in those areas. They don't
Right.
exist.
But in this particular area, then that's why I said it's location. In this particular area, they do exist.
And what particular?
Bagley.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
But I
now they
don't
do.
know. I don't know anything
Right.
about it.
Yeah, now they do.
But the
So we
point
got
being,
so we got
That was
2
my point.
families. We got the option of house hack,
Mhm.
right? You got possible conversion to single family for a single family, a large single family, or large number of occupants, to be
Mhm.
politically
Mhm.
correct. And then you got the investor conversion for an investor flip, or you got the investor that will buy it and continue to rent it out as 2
Mhm.
units. And it's all really based on where the numbers are going to make the most sense after the
Exactly.
fact.
but
Don't
we,
be trying to
but,
force no numbers.
but we
Right.
seeing that the numbers most likely
For a flip,
don't work
haven't
out.
been making sense in most areas.
Not
They have,
always.
so I can't speak of most
This
areas.
is not
I'm
always.
only, yeah,
We're not saying
right,
okay.
always. We're saying most likely. So there are areas, like you just said, certain locations. There are needles in the haystack everywhere.
It ain't just needle.
It's a needle in the haystack because you're not going to go out there and
Yeah, I
find
mean,
a bunch of them.
Illinois has the same type of concept.
Illinois
If you
who?
go to Chicago
Yeah, but we in
and you
Michigan.
go
We're
into
talking about
there,
Michigan.
so exactly. But you said not.
It's a
Right.
needle in the
Well,
haystack here in Michigan.
The
I
reason
don't know
I
about
brought that
Illinois.
up is because a lot of, like you said, people come from other areas
Mhm.
and they like, yeah, I
Expecting it
just
to be
want
the
to buy a
same.
2-family and convert it to a single family and sell
Mhm.
it for this. And I'm like, that might not work for that area
Mm-hmm.
because that
It's not
area
here.
is not going to support that type of property when you're done with it,
Mhm.
right? And it hasn't. In other words, there's not enough demand. If you're banking your investment flip on less than 5% of the market for that area,
The needle in the
Yeah.
haystack.
that's a
Mhm.
bad start.
Right.
Now, if you tell me, hey, this is an area where all the homes are 3,000 square feet and most of them are 4 to 5 bedrooms, but I got this 2-unit that's 3,000 square feet. It just so happened to be a 6-bedroom, and these are the values.
Mhm.
That might be an easy choice, right? I'm just going to convert it to a single
Mhm.
family, sell it as a single family because the numbers make sense. But if you're talking an area where they're all 3 and 4 bedrooms and you got a 6-bedroom, and now you're trying to sell your 6-bedroom for 80,000 more,
Mm-hmm.
you have to show me within that area, like you said, within a half mile or a mile, that is something that's going to support that, because an appraiser may not just say, oh, just because you got 2 extra bedrooms and extra square footage, this is what the value is going to be.
Price yourself out the market, and that's what people
Exactly.
got to be careful of. They're
Right.
always doing so much, and I see it all the time with flippers that don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They're always pricing yourself out the market. We see a lot of them doing
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so to convert or not to convert?
Not
Okay.
most of the time. I guess it depends. You know what I mean? I can't say not. It just you got to find that needle in the haystack.
I would say probably about 80% of the time, no, for both investors and individual owner occupants.
And I'm gonna say 95% no.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna fall in between. I'm not gonna go no a hard. I'm not gonna do a hard no. I think that it's a lot of thought into the conversions in terms of location, in terms even curb appeal, right?
Right.
Like what does it look like from the outside of the house? If it's a brick house, you know, like how much money do you have to spend to make this conversion happen? And then does it make sense? So for me, if it makes sense, yes.
95% of the time, it's not gonna make sense.
I don't know. Wish I could get in his math.
Well,
because we just go look at it.
I'm just not that high because
Yeah.
I've seen people do it and it works.
Yeah,
It
I've
depends
seen
on-
it.
that's why I
Yeah,
say
and I'm
5
not
out
talking
of
about none of the
100.
people we know.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
5 out of 100 2 families where we see will work out in the conversion.
Yeah,
And
that's
we can
just-
start
No,
go through the
but
numbers.
okay, but that's what. But okay, 5 out of 100 that we see might work.
Mhm.
Okay,
But it's still
it's still 5.
That's 5%. I said 95% of the time it does not work. 5% it does. So I agree. It does work
Y'all saying
5% of the
same
time.
thing.
Basically, he just likes to argue.
But I said that's what I said.
So what I'm saying is, people, you have people that want to get into investing. They're trying to figure it out. I definitely don't think it's for a newbie investor for sure, or flipper. And the other thing I want to say is I would, people who need like the space because they have growing children or adult children or families, consider 2-family flats because the long-term investment might be worth it after, you no longer have that need. So
Yeah, when you got those teenagers that need their own space and all of that.
or
Or
people
you
is
got
moving
them,
their family.
you got them grown kids that won't
parents.
leave out the house and all of that type of
Yeah.
stuff. They stay at home till they 30 playing video games and Call of Duty. And you just have them stay upstairs and pay rent.
I think you buy a single family. So I don't agree with that. I think that was people buy a single family, finish your basement, and then keep it moving. Don't go trying to convert nothing because you're not.
Yeah, don't do a conversion. But what I'm saying is, you have a lot of people who really feel like mom has to stay with me or dad has to stay with me,
That
or
makes sense.
dad and grandma. Like we're dealing with it right now with the client. They're buying this, really big house out somewhere. And it's part of the reason is because mom and dad, grandma and dad is coming to stay.
Right.
The husband is basically like, shoot, they're not gonna be here forever. They old. And so I think they're kind of doing it smart. They're taking a
single family residence.
They're taking a single family residence that's like a newer build that has like, your office and like that additional dining and making those bedrooms so that, in 10, 50, I don't know, I don't want to put a time on life, but whenever, the time comes, they need that they'll be able to have their space back and, use those other rooms for multifunctioning space. But you do have people who also feel very passionate about, combining their their family together. And in those situations, consider multifamily, 2-family flats.
So
what the hell is wrong with you?
I don't agree with that. So listen, hold on. So let's be very specific on saying why I don't agree. I do not agree. So we're talking about
do you just not be agreeing?
I just don't agree.
But I'm about to explain it to y'all so that the audience can understand it as well. So we're talking about converting multi-families and whether or not to do it or not to do it. That's what we're talking about. That's the subject matter. So I'm saying that typically do not do it. 95% of the time, do not do it. 95% or more of those are not good deals. If you do have a situation like Jonnita's explaining, or you got a situation like Reggie's explaining, I'm saying I would not be looking at a 2-family. I would be looking at a single family residence that has a basement that I can finish. Because you're going to get the value, you're going to get your value is going to be, you're not going to have to put as much into finishing that basement as you're going to have to put into that conversion.
So 2 families mainly make sense for people that are house hacking or investors looking to rent.
There it is.
Okay, and so I'm going to double back.
But wait, let me say something real quick.
Okay, and then I'm still going to double back.
This just popped in my mind. Remember the movie Baby Boy? Mm-hmm. So if Jody was staying in his own unit, that would have been a different movie. Mama gotta have a life too, Jody. He wouldn't have seen, he wouldn't have got choked up.
He still would have had a problem.
True. So look, what I'm saying is, yes, our subject matter was conversions. We're done talking about that. We have all given our opinion, people. Right. Now, for the people who have a situation like what Reggie just explained, think about a 2-family flat, not converting the 2-family flat, but using it as it is. I have a lot of single women clients who have maybe just one child.
Do they identify as women?
They do.
Okay, I just want to
and the sure child is actually, they may not even be married. Right. They may not even be thinking about having more children, but they have this elderly family or whatever that they feel like they need to care for now. Right. And in those situations, a 2-family flat may be okay because mom or auntie or dad can have their own space. And then when mom or auntie or dad are done, if you want to continue to have that place, now you have cash flow potentially helping you to take care of your mortgages and other bills and whatever else, or you can rent to other family member and you don't have to do a conversion. You can use it as it is intended to be, as a 2-family flat.
And the issue with that is that when you try to sell it, you're most likely going to end up selling it from an investor who's going to want less money than a homeowner, which is why I said to the people, buy a single family, finish your basement, or even add on, do whatever you want to do with the single family. but you're gonna sell that house to a family that's gonna pay more than the investor.
Right.
That's
What
all,
makes
that's where we're
sense.
disagreeing at.
Okay,
So
and that's
basically what it-
fine.
what it
Shaka has
boils
gotten
down
his
to
point
is-
across, and I still stand on what I stand on, and you should consider the option to buy multifamilies. Go ahead.
Oh, I do want to say this before we wrap up. We talked about multifamily conversions, right? Stop turning your 3 bedrooms into 2 bedrooms out of convenience if you're gonna sell and you don't plan on turning it back.
Another
'Cause
topic.
you
We're gonna
just-
bring that up.
Yeah,
We're
you
gonna
just
bring that
dropped
up.
the value of your
Killed
house.
it.
But yeah, those are bars. But Mama gotta have a life too. Mama gotta have a life too.
All right, Jody. Jody.
All right, that's
All
a
right,
wrap.
that's a wrap.
No, that's another subject because we need to talk about that. People, I got like 3 people that's done
I'm gonna
that.
get Shaka a shirt that say I disagree.